Welcome to this Windows and computer channel, and let's talk about something that is of interest and always very actual. And we're gonna also have the urban legends that go with this, as we're gonna talk about hackers, malware, viruses, and what people think and what's the urban legends around all of this. I think it's time to recap this. I did a video about this more than a year ago, and I think it's time we just kind of restart. There's a lot of new subscribers to the channel and viewers, so it's time to talk about this. First things first. Why hackers exist? Well, first of all, remember one thing. Hackers and people that made viruses and malware in the past were simply people that probably had too much time on their hands. In the past, in the 90s, 80s, and 90s, when all of this started, as the computers were more and more popular, what happened is, kids and guys in their basements and their, bedrooms were hacking. But for the most part, and for a pretty long time, most of that was mostly fun and seeing if, where they could push systems. And some of them were kind of proud to just have the acknowledgement of hearing that a virus or something they did, was in the news because it affected computers around the world. And it stayed pretty much like that. One of the famous cases that's from here in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, is he was called Mafia Boy back then. And he was the one that actually infected millions of PCs and actually created, millions of dollars of damage. His idea at the base was probably not to be bad or anything. It was just to be able to see how what he does, could be talked about and what's happening around the world. But he had no intent. I'm pretty sure he had no intent of doing bad. And I'm pretty sure, and he didn't have any intent of making money out of it. But things are different today. Why do hackers exist today? Why are there some viruses going around? What's the point of all of this? And it's a question that a lot of people ask themselves. Well, hacking has become a business. Today, hackers do this to make money. Why do malware exist? To make money. It's a business today. It's a huge business. As we are super interconnected now, now's the time to make big, big cash out of doing all of this bad stuff. So hackers today there are different categories. There's the one that attacks and will attack regular folks like you and me and try to lure us into giving personal details or having information that could be sold, or personal details that mean they could steal money off of our credit cards, for example. And there's what I call the big gun hackers. Those that don't really care about that. What they care is hacking into big systems, stealing money from banks, stealing money from businesses. They're in a different category. These guys are usually in a very, very different league. And the viruses and malware that is sent out, because these hackers will create software or that actually are bad, which we call malware. There are viruses, keyloggers of all sorts. And what they do is these viruses are there to, once again, make money and stealing personal data and getting control of your PC and asking for a ransom. That's ransomware. And keylogging, finding all the details of what you just entered on that credit card and info that you purchased something on Amazon today. And now they got it. They can buy stuff, steal money. It's all related to that. And that's where we are at with hackers. Hackers today think of it as a business. And the business is to be someone that is a bad guy that wants to, make money off of stealing data and creating havoc on systems. Now, there's a lot of urban legends around the fact of viruses and hackers and all of that. And I hear them. They haven't changed, actually. When I listen to what people say today and what people, learn from others, is I just see the same thing over and over again. And I'm going to talk about some of the things I've heard that are simply not true, and that some people believe real well that this is true, and it's not. One of them, malware or viruses are made by antivirus companies so they can sell more antiviruses. Just think about that phrase for a second. First of all, in the world we live today, everything gets known at some point. Everything we learn at some point of what happened for real. So if that would be the case, then we would have known at some point, and nobody would buy antiviruses anymore. It's simply illogical to think that. Oh, I'm going to start an antivirus company, and by the way, I'm going to create viruses so that I can actually sell antiviruses. It doesn't work like that. And imagine all the damage and all the lawsuits that would go into a company that would do that. It just isn't logical. Antiviruses are there to try to help you and try to block and keep you as safe as possible. And it's the mission of most antivirus companies. It would be dumb for them to create viruses, and that is one of the urban legends I hear all the time. It's not the case. It's like, Microsoft makes malware because it breaks Windows, and you got to buy a new PC. Well, first of all, when Windows breaks down, you don't have to buy a new PC. I get this all week, every week. Well, last patch Tuesday, my computer stopped working, and now I got to buy a new PC because of Microsoft. Yeah, that doesn't work like that. Okay, if a update did mess up your PC, you just reinstall Windows. Your PC is back to normal, and that's it. These are urban legends that are still there and always there. And unfortunately, they have a strong hold. A lot of people are still think that. Another urban legend. Oh, I don't do Windows updates because they are the ones that bring all these viruses in my computer. I heard that dozens, if not hundreds of times over all the years that I've been doing this. I even had clients that I had to disinfect their PCs that had tons of malware because a friend or a family member told them, oh, don't do Windows updates. That's going to bring viruses and break your PC. And they ended up what? They ended up buying or paying for the tech guy. Why? Because they probably would not have paid the tech guy if they had done their updates. I stress out about the updates all the time. I tell you guys, you got to do the security updates. There's a very simple reason for this. It prevents you from paying the tech guy. It's one of the best ways to stay safe. That and what you do online. The two together is the winner combination of staying safe. And people still don't think that. Another marvelous urban legend. I pay for the best antivirus out there because I know I'm going to be safe. No, you're not. And in fact, if you rely on your antivirus to stay safe, you're not going to be safe. So many viruses, so many malware out there are undetected. Not counting that those security flaws, if they're not fixed, man, things are going to go right through. Hackers are going to take control of your PC. Antivirus or not. Because you're careless. And that's it. You know, this is something that always amazes me, that people still think that. And a lot of people still think that. You know, it's just crazy. Another urban legend. Well, you know, I bought a Mac because it's safer. It's not. Every month, there's probably as many security flaws in your operating system for Mac OS than Windows. I got it with, I got enough of Windows. I'm going with Linux. Now I'll be safe. Not true. What is the difference is that it's the perception of the numbers. Majority of PC users on Windows. Of course, that's why we always hear Windows gets infected with something. Let's go back to the hacker that I was talking at the beginning of the video. Why do hackers attack Windows first? Once again, a lot of you out there are going to say, well, because it's full of flaws and it's easy to hack into. Nope. It's actually very secure. It's as secure, if not more, than Mac or Linux. You know, if it wasn't secure, no businesses would be still using Windows today. And businesses would be plagued with problems with malware and hackers. Now, some of you are going to say, well, they are plagued with. Yeah, of course, because of the numbers. When you have 90% of all the PC market, you're the one that's going to be attacked all the time. It's totally normal. If you're a hacker and you want to make money, you attack the biggest base of users. Because attacking Windows, attacking a Mac, and attacking a Linux machine are done in a different way. There's no universal attack possible. What you do to attack Windows is going to be different to attack Mac, and it's going to be different on Linux. So you attack the biggest user base. That's where you'll get the maximum amount of people that might give you money. That's why you make viruses for Windows before you'll make viruses for anything else. Because you're attacking the biggest user base possible. Once again, trying to make money. But that's a real big urban legend that if you're on your Mac, you're safe. I actually, over the years that I did my tech jobs, if you look at the percentage of Mac users versus the percentage of Windows users, I was impressed with the number of viruses and of, malware that I had to remove from Macs compared to Windows. And that was a big surprise for me back then. I was on the impression that, I knew that Macs were vulnerable, like Windows. But I would have thought not that much, because the lower number meant less people, less hackers were actually creating stuff for Macs to infect. I was surprised to see that, I actually made quite a lot of money fixing computers that, were Macs that had malware. Even some of them just reinstalling OS X completely because of malware, viruses, and problems of all sorts with that. So stop thinking you're safe because you have a platform over another. You're not safer on your Mac, and you're certainly not safer on your Linux machine. If you do think that, you don't understand at all what computer security is all about. And you're probably the first one's going to say, hey, I don't make Windows updates because, they bring viruses. Yeah, So it's important to understand the real facts and stop going with those urban legends that like I said, they haven't changed in 20 years. There's no new urban legends. They're all the same. They're the same all the time. And there's just no difference. It's been like that in 2000 when I started doing tech jobs. Still like that today in 2020, 20 years later. So remember to stay safe. What you do, the security updates have to be done. These two things together, are 99% of all your security. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.